Hello, everybody. Welcome to Drum Education Live number 43, episode 43. And tonight, I don't know. We have Kandi Goodnight with us. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And I'm going to pass now to Kira. Kira, your question, please.
Well, I just wanted to know more about you and how you got started with this amazing instrument called the
Um,
drums.
I hear you.
Hear your story a little bit.
I was actually born into it. I have three older brothers, and they can play any instrument that they pick up. Me, I am drummer, percussionist only. I tried to pick up the guitar for a little while, and I just couldn't. I was like, no, let me go back to beating on something. But from the time I can remember, I sat on my oldest brother's lap while he played, and he would put sticks in my hands and put his hands around mine and played with me on his lap a lot. So about 8 years old, I got my own set finally because he was like, you got to get her own set because she's playing mine too much. So I got my own set when I was 8 and been doing it ever since.
Nice.
Wow.
I played with my brothers up till about 10 years ago, a lot more than anybody else, um, more in worship services. And there's a difference in the atmosphere. There really is. But I feel privileged you all called on me today. And so I'm honored to be here. Just thank you so much for reaching out. My journey, I've played drums all my life. So I'm teaching too, and I did that for a little while in my 20s, and as soon as I started, right after I hit 40, I thought, no, I'm gonna get back into this. I want to teach again, and it has been the most amazing experience this last time around with the kids that I have. They're all very special. They all listen well. They like to be challenged.
Cool.
Sometimes they're like, growling at me, but a lot of times, like within the same lesson, they get down what I've showed them that day, and we try to write it as far as sheet music goes, so they can see on sheet music what they're doing if they don't even understand it yet. So I I usually start them with their legs instead of with their hands.
Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting.
And I have found that it helps a lot. If they get their feet going, one and three on your bass pedal or your bass drum, and then 2 and 4 with your hi-hat, it gets you used to moving your legs. And so after they're feeling comfortable with that, we'll add a hand in with the snare. And when they're comfortable with that, then we'll add the other hand also as well with the hi-hat. And I teach them both ways, lefty and right.
Okay.
Oh.
And that's
And
tough sometimes. They get a little down. I'm like, oh, I can't get this. I'm like, you will, because you got to have full range of everything independently. So I urge them to keep going, keep trying. The best thing I can tell them is to get back there and tinker around. That's what I call it. I'm not a musician drummer. I am an experimenter. I experiment and I tink, and I love tinking on cymbals. So I've tried, I try little things around the grooves. I show them things, as far as crashing, and then decrescendos and crescendos, and I love what I'm doing, and the most thing that I want to pass on is the passion for it. If they don't have the passion behind it, it's not going to be a great experience for them, and so that's what I try to pass on. So I'm kind of loud and outgoing whenever I'm with my kids, and I've got one kid, he's always showing me things that he's gotten, and he had these light up glasses. He's like, will you wear these while you're teaching me today? Of course. I will. I will. So whatever it takes, and it makes them happy, they can, put some input into it, and I love it. I just love it.
Cool.
Where did
I
you
love. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
where did you, but who, I want to know, like, you're clearly so passionate about teaching drums as well as playing. Did you have a particular mentor? Was it your brothers who taught you what to play, or was there anybody else who really guided you?
My oldest brother did a lot of the guidance, and then whenever I got into fifth and sixth grade, I took music all through school and high school. I was in the marching band, and that was fun. I loved that experience. I thought about going to Black Gold and trying out for them a long time ago, but I didn't have the time to do it. So it takes a lot of time, you know, with the professional marching bands.
Mm.
Yeah, but did you have like formal lessons or a teacher?
No, not really.
No.
No, I did not. And I almost think that it made me a better drummer because I've had to figure some things out on my own. And when I've had questions, I mean, there's um, many videos out there that are great for learning. Not everybody can get to a personal teacher, even though I think that's the best way to approach it. There's, like I said, a lot of people can't get to a personal teacher, and so they're learning from online videos. And they're a great help. They really are. But I do think the personal experience is best.
No doubt about it. How did the pandemic affect your teaching? Are you doing
Um,
any online or all online or nothing online?
I haven't done anything online. We've been in person. Um, the um, the music shop that I used to work at, I actually went out on my own about a year and a half ago from the music shop that I was working at, and some of my students followed me, and then I've had more call me. It seems like since I've been teaching out of my home, or I go to their house. If they have their own set, I think that it's more comfortable for them to be learning on their own set than trying to adjust to my set when they come over. Because I'm taller than them, or you know, vice versa, they're taller than me. So their stuff is set up just how they like it, and they're comfortable with it. Sometimes they'll ask me what I think about their setup or what would help them be faster around the kit, you know, just different things like that. And a lot of times you get a lot of different answers when you ask questions on Facebook like that. And then you're like, well, which way do I go with? And all I can say is experiment, you know, see and stay at it, you know, keep experimenting, keep trying to do that left hand lead, keep trying to do that right hand lead. My left hand students are playing a lot of open handed.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I'm getting them to cross over a little bit some, but they're more comfortable with that open hand, and I'm just fine with it, you know, as long as they're having fun and they're enjoying what they're doing and want to keep doing it.
Excellent.
You
Kira,
seem
another
to
question?
have, sorry, you seem to have a really great positive attitude and like can do way of being, which I think is really important with, you know, something like drumming.
Mhm.
You got to keep that focus. But I wondered, has there ever been anything throughout your career that you didn't know how to solve, like your biggest challenge maybe at the time?
Well, that's a good question. um, there's been songs that I had to learn for worship experiences, and some of them were really tough, and I had to break it down. I would listen to the first third of it or first quarter of it and get that part down, and then I'd play on through, get the second part down too. That way, I'd play on through from the beginning to the second part, verses, choruses, bridges, and then I go all the way through it like that. I do it in quarters and then I put it all together, and it seems to help me a lot. Even lowering the metronome or the beats per minute to be able to help me get those pieces down that I want to get down. Um, it helps me. If you can't do it slow, you're not going to be able to do it fast. So sometimes you have to slow down and really pay attention. You have to pay attention to what you're listening to and trying to learn.
Cool. Do you have a favorite drummer?
I have several. And probably ones you wouldn't think. Carter Buford from Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites. Stuart Copeland from The Police. And I love Emmanuel Capulet. I love her marching stuff that she does, her rudiment, and how she'll slow it down and then she'll speed it back up. And I love how she teaches also. And my oldest brother, you know, he was my inspiration. He had me on his lap from the beginning. And so he's helped me a lot, and I have several friends that play drums also, and we collaborate, you know, and talk about things. And it's good to have that support. And even with the Facebook friends and our groups that we have, the musical groups, they're mostly they're very encouraging and lots of good advice that we get. So
Good. Yeah. Fortunately, there is that lot of encouragement on Facebook usually, in the drumming groups.
yes.
Kira?
I wanted to talk about education, and you know, you were talking about how often at times there's lots of stuff online and you don't know what to listen to and what to pay attention to. What do you think is missing in terms of drumming education at the moment?
Since we had everything going on like this last year with everybody, I don't even want to say it, the pandemic, you know, and we've all heard it over and over and over again. The personalization, like I said, there's great videos out there that teach us and we can learn from. But I still think the personal relationship with the student is the most important, and then also with their parents. You know, you've got to get along with their parents really well for them to want to bring their kid, you know, to get lessons from you. But I have some really great parents that are very encouraging, and they love hearing their kids get better and better. And they're like, hey, he actually sounds like he's playing a song now, you know, and just different things like that. It makes you feel really good that you are having an impact on their life. And I want to be a positive one. I never want to discourage them. I don't tell them things like, this is hard or this is easy. I'll tell them this is going to be challenging, but we'll get through it, you know. And so you got to be positive in how you put it to them too, because they can get discouraged. Feelings, you know, for smaller kids, the little feelings can get hurt. So you really have to watch how you say what you say, depending on their age, depending on the ages. And my adults, we just have fun. I mean, it's the whole time we just have fun and we laugh at each other. Like I did, you know, I'm trying to show something and, oh, wait, let me go back and do that again because that wasn't right. And they'll laugh at me, you know, it's fun. I mean, I can't speak enough about drumming. It kept me out of a lot of trouble as a kid, I think. With the trouble I did get into, it kept me from a lot of things, and I was able to experiment and articulate my own style. And everybody plays different. Everybody configures their sets different. And it's millimeters. It really is, as far as when you move your drums around and getting them comfortable in playing. It's very important that they're sitting straight up and they're paying attention to what they're doing. Counting, I want them to count in their heads, but I don't want them to lose focus of what they're doing. So yeah, I think the personalization is really, it's been hard this year. It's been hard this year for a lot of teachers, I know, and most of them are doing online teaching, and I'm completely behind it. I myself, I'm going to be there in person. I want to be there in person, and I want to see the look on their face, when they get what we're working on that day. That's the joy of it all, is seeing the eyes just light up. Really did it, and awesome. It's awesome.
Great. Do you have a wide range in terms of age for kids, or there's a kind of tendency of a?
Well, I have all the way from 4 years old up to 60. So some people later in life thought it was something they wanted to do all their life, and finally, get a chance to do it after they retired or whatever, and it's great. I mean, they want to learn just as much as the kids do. So
And for example, for a 4-year-old kid, do you still start with the feet thing?
I sure do. I sure
Cool.
do. I really do. Like I said, I mean, I know that most teachers start with the hands, but I think if you start with the feet, it's easier for them to come in with that left hand or that right hand on 2 and 4, teaching the basics of 4/4 time. And then, I'll teach them some on 6/8 too. And that's like my favorite. That's my favorite to play in is 6/8 time. But so I show them both, and we lead off with different hands, and we go all different ways around the song that we can do. And that way they're looser, and they can hit those, that hard when things are fast, for them.
Cool. Here.
How much are rudiments important to you in your playing?
I usually just do 2 rudiments, and I know that there's so many more, but the 2 most important ones, the right, right, left, left, and left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. If you're using a metronome like we're supposed to, you can speed it up, and it really helps with your around the kit movement. To me, that's just, like I said, the 2 most important ones, and teaching them 6/8 time also, because you're not always going to have a 4/4 song, and when they get into jazz or anything like that, they've got those really odd time signatures, and even when it changes in the music, a time signature, it can throw you off really easily. So I want them limber, and I want them to be able to move around the kit and have fun doing it. And each time they get faster, they light up. They're like, I'm getting better. Yes, you are. You are getting better every day. And they will give me the time, the days that they're not with me. I know that they practice at least 15 minutes. I'm like, you give me 15 minutes a day, and we'll set a time and we'll do it together. I'll be practicing while you're practicing, even though we're not seeing each other. And it does make a difference. I can tell that they've practiced every week. So it's fun. I guess I make them want to learn somehow. I don't know what it is, except for the passion that drives me to want to pass that on.
Passion is infectious, even if you don't consciously try anything,
Right.
the other people feel it. And now going a little bit about your business as an instructor. Yeah. What's behind the name Drum Insanity?
Drum Insanity, I was skeptical on which way to spell it, because at first I thought drum, and then capital I and capital insanity, or capital I for insanity. And I was like, yeah, or Drum Insanity, I'm sorry. And I thought that was a pretty cool name. And then I thought, we're Drum Insanity. This is sometimes the only place where you feel you're sane. You're not thinking about anything else. You're on your music, you're grooving, and it's really, I have people come to me now, and I'm able to charge less than what I was before, because I'm on my own, and I put that out there. And it's just everybody loves the name, and I thought it was really cool. I don't know how I came up with it. It just came to me one day, and then I figured on making the labels and all that. It was just drum insanity. So that was the reason behind that. And I don't know that I could have come up with anything better.
It's super cool. I would really like to be a bit nosy, and I I want to know.
I'm an open book. You can ask me anything you want.
Now I want to know about your practicing, what you're working on, and what is really exciting you at the moment, drumming wise.
I work on a lot of different things. I do some reggae. I'll practice with old Def Leppard stuff. I'll practice with old Metallica stuff. There's worship stuff that I practice too. I have a wide range of genres of music that I absolutely love. And I think that to be a better player, you need to get out of your own box and listen to different types of music, because you can learn something from each type of music that you listen to. And that's what's really cool about music. It doesn't have to be all one genre. There's so many across the board: blues, rock, hard rock, metal, coffee shop, acoustic stuff. I love doing acoustic sets myself. They're just more intimate, and that's what I love. And I've had a team that I played with for 10 years, and I kind of went out my way about a year ago, and been playing, filling in for a couple of different churches. Right now I'm filling in at a Vietnamese church, and it's been really interesting. One of the kids there is one of my students, and they want her to play for the church. So she is only comfortable doing one song a week. So she'll do her one song, and then I go behind her and I play the next four. And until she's comfortable, it'll be that way. I'll be there as long as she needs me to. That's just how I feel. It's that important to me. I want these kids just to be happy in what they're doing and proud of themselves, because only 2% of the population can play drums. 2%.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I know it's a wow fact. It's one of those wow. You never think about it like that, but I think there's a less percentage of drummers than any other type of musician. I'm sure of it.
I hope I'm part of the 2%.
I know it's a privilege to be part of the 2%. I mean, I've been wanting to make shirts that say that. I haven't gotten around to it yet. Just so busy teaching, and I also have another part-time job that I do, and so it's practice, church, work, and that's pretty much it. But I've been wanting to get a group together, but it's really hard to find the right chemistry. It really is.
It's just hard to find people.
I want to put the time into it, yes, because you do have to put a lot of time into it, and to come together as a group and be tight and be able to hit off each other, and lead off of each other, and that's a special thing. That's a very special thing. So it hasn't worked out for me thus far, but I'm gonna find the right people. I know I will.
Welcome to the club.
I know, right? It's hard to be in that in-between stage. It really is. And you have to push yourself and motivate yourself to practice sometimes. I do not walk through my living room without touching my drums. My drums are in my living room, yes. So I don't pass them by without doing something on them. And I think that's passion and wanting to experiment and try more things. I don't know if anybody else has ever done a cymbal zing, it's Z-I-N-G, but I'll take my cymbal and from the center of it, slide out across those grooves. And in worship songs or slower songs, it sounds really cool. And something to try on, on each cymbal that I have, I've done that. And even hi-hats, if I keep them open, about an inch or two, an inch and a half, because I don't like that big space. Then it just comes together. It really comes together. So
Yeah, I feel like there's so many lovely nuances you can get from symbols that people don't talk about much,
right.
like you just talked about, and on the very edge, and you can really create something beautiful by exploring, like you're talking about. And I think it's right. Sometimes you just need a teacher or someone to go, "Is okay. Just experiment and make it sound good."
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful.
It's just going on a tangent here. It seems to me that a lot of the new mainly rock drummers, they're all about power
Yeah.
and not enough subtlety. So a friend of mine whose son is also a drummer, and the son is 18. So he called the cymbal manufacturer that he's a sponsor, and said to the guy, said, send a couple cymbals for my son, but don't send the high end thing because he has no love. Just
not easy with anything, huh?
yeah. So send me the things that are gonna take the whacking of a 19-year-old boy.
And yeah, I mean, when you first learn to play, you do play louder, and you don't realize, you don't have to start loud. If you start loud, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I mean, so I think from the start, a song should be not slow, but mellower. And then as you get on towards like bridges and things like that, change it up a little bit. And then whenever you come back to your two last choruses or whatever, make them big, make them strong, crescendo those things. And just like starting out lightly with your cymbals and getting louder, and then coming back down. Same with your snare when you're doing rolls. Start low, come back up, and then go back down. And that's a hard thing to learn too, because you really have to pay attention to your other musicians, how they are sounding and what's coming through your ears and what's going through theirs. So like I said, the team I was with for 10 years, I miss them. we had a great chemistry. But you can't start so loud that you have nowhere to go except for the crescendoing. And usually in a song you build up towards the end. There are some songs that do go back to like a more acoustic type sound or whatever at the beginning and the end. But yeah, whenever you first learn to play, you're just wanting to be loud and have that power, and you feel good because you're beating on something, and you're taking some of your anxiety or frustrations or whatever it is that you have inside of you, you're letting it out. It's the most excellent outlet that you can have.
It's a great feeling. But then when you learn how to play properly, it's even better.
Yes. And keeping the back straight. I love Larry Mullen Jr. From U2, and I got to see them in concert last year. I hadn't been to one of their concerts, and I got to see him, and it was funny. I had seats that were right across. I mean, I could have reached over and touched him.
Wow.
I didn't realize it was gonna be that close, but he had drum set on both sides of the stage, so he did move around, and he did some marching stuff on marching drum stuff, and that was fun to watch. I love playing around with things like that, bongos and congas and marching drums. They sound so good. I like the 8x10 snares. Some of your 5x13s, 5x14s. They're good for some things, but I like that 8x10 sound.
Me too.
Yeah. It's powerhouse.
Good.
I wanted to ask you, you know, you do a lot of drumming, worship drumming.
Yeah.
For those drummers who may be like just starting, I think it can be quite intimidating, the amount of songs that you have to learn. And I
Yes.
just wondered if you have like a method or you know, something that helps you remember all this stuff. Do you write it down? Do you have like a system? How do you do it?
There is times that I have written things down just so I can remember. You're right, and when you're learning a whole lot of new songs at one time, it does get jumbled. So yes, I've written notes before, and other times I mostly just keep playing it, keep playing it until I get it right. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfectly just like the song that whatever Hillsong or Jesus Culture put out. Put your own style to it, and that makes it sound that much better. I mean, it just adds to it. I think that's important that you not try to be perfectly to someone else's playing, but put your own style into it. And if it doesn't work, try a different, try a different triangulation. Um, so I think that's important too. Experimenting, like I said, you've got to experiment on all the sounds on your drums, from the rim to the middle. I mean, there's so many things and so many things that you can teach somebody and learn, and it's a never-ending process. It really is. um, every day I wake up and I play something and I'll hear somebody else play something, I'm like, man, I suck. I mean, you just I mean,
Yes, I do know.
I do know too.
I mean, I've done that, and I had a friend over the other day. He had to help me with the song, and it was funny. I haven't seen him in a long time. We grew up as childhood friends, and he kind of showed it to me, and he went fast, and I said, slow it down for me so I can see it, and then I'll start slow and build it up. And you've got to do that sometimes. Sometimes you have to slow stuff down to learn it and to get it, and then speed it up as you get it to where you want it, at least halfway to where you want it, because because we never, I think that anytime that we play, oh, I could have done that better, oh, I should have done this there, or we're our own worst critics. And I think that goes for every musician. I really do.
Yeah. In terms of worship, are there occasions where like the song goes for a long, 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 long time? Like, you're playing the song is 4 minutes long, but for some reason during the
It ends
service,
up
people
about
decide,
10.
yeah, let's make it 10 minutes. 4 minutes not enough. Let's play for 10 minutes. So, how do you keep the time, and if because it's a natural thing to maybe not even getting tired, but getting bored of playing the same song like for a long, long, long time.
Right. I think that in itself, the experience, when, like I said, it's a different experience. Like, I love doing outside gigs. I love to play outside. You're out in the air, you're out in the open, and people have, room to walk, do whatever they want. But in terms of that, let's go back. What was your question? I'm sorry.
About playing a song, during service,
Yeah,
the song that goes like for 10, 12 minutes.
More often than not, now worship teams are using a click track, where you've got a click in your ear, and it's, you can keep on your BPMs and not slow down and speed up. And a lot of times, they don't come with those extra choruses and verses. There is an end, they're maybe 4 to 5 minute songs instead of going into 10. That's for most worship in churches nowadays. They usually use a click track, and that way you've got a metronome in your ear all the time.
Okay,
So
cool.
if you, sorry, Felipe,
No, I was
I'm
just saying.
interrupting all over the shop today. Too
I
much.
kind of do that. I go everywhere. It's like I jump from one thing to another, and it's because of there's so much that you can tell about them. I mean, I know that guitarists have their lingo and they talk about their pedals and their capos and whatnot, strings that they use. But drums, it's like it's never ending. It's never ending. There's always something that you can learn. And that's why I say some days I just feel like, oh man, I'm no good. But other days I'm like, wow, I did that. I did that.
Yeah.
And it's a real booster for you. It really is. It's a good boost for your to be able to hold your head up. That's what it is for me. I don't ever want to hold my head down because I've messed up something or went to a chorus instead of going to a verse. Things like that. It really bothers me. I'm a perfectionist, and so I know nothing is ever perfect. So I have to rein myself in sometimes, because
Cool.
I do like things to be perfect, and I know that we never achieve it. We'll never achieve it.
Oh
Not
no, that's impossible.
Hmm.
Kira, that
Yeah,
moment.
I was just going to ask Ben, because it's interesting that it's all to a click, and you were talking about playing outside. And so for me, before you talked about a click, I was like, oh, outside, you can't hear anything. Like, the sound just goes, ah. So I'm guessing then for you, it's totally an everyday practice that you've got cans or you've got in ears. So outside is totally okay, in that respect. You can hear
Mhm.
because you've got in ears in.
Yeah, and with that too, you've got to, as the whole group is playing, you don't want to overpower them. We're timekeepers, and yes, add different fills in different places, but less is more sometimes. Less is more, and there's a time to show off and do your thing like that. But when you're playing music, don't try and overpower somebody else. We're making this together. It's a team effort, and we try to play where it's all mixed perfectly. Yeah. If you don't have a good sound man, then you're not going to sound good anyway.
Exactly. Okay.
I wanted to tell you too. Whenever I looked up, you're in London, England, and yesterday I was like, what am I going to wear for this? So I found
Wow.
yesterday in honor of your country. Thank you so much for having me on. I tell you, I was so stoked, to get the call from you. So I really appreciate the time that you guys are taking with me.
Well, thank you for accepting the invitation. You would
Yeah,
be
thank
amazed
you.
of how many people say no. Worse, they don't even say anything. They pretend they didn't hear it.
Oh no, if like I said, I'm an open book, and I think some people like me for it and some people hate me for it, and it doesn't matter to me. I don't care either way. I am who I am. And I am a passionate person, and it seems like I'm passionate about everything I do.
Cool.
Not just in drums, but in teaching. I'm passionate about that. And with my grandkids, they're showing me these things that they do, and there's a passion there, and anytime kids relate to you and feel safe and secure with you, it's going to be a relationship that lasts a lifetime, and I
Yes.
think that's important.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely. You don't look old enough to be a grandma, by the way.
I'm 46.
You're not even old enough to be a grandma.
I am. I had my second daughter when I was 22,
Wow.
And so yeah, she's grown up and got me two little grandbabies, and they are just, oh my gosh, I love them to pieces. I can't say enough. I won't brag
Oh,
anymore, but little Lila and Miguel, and they're just so fun.
Excellent.
He actually took his bed apart last week. He's 3 years old with his play tools. And
oh.
I know. And they walked back in his room and his bed's all apart, and they're like, "How did you do this?" And he held up the tools that he used to do it with. Okay, he's a crack up. He really is. But they're 5 and 3, and they're just, a whole, my heart just swells, when I
So
talk
fun.
about him or see him. Yeah.
Great.
Oh, that's lovely.
Well, Kandi, thank you very much.
This is an honor and privilege, and I thank you for reaching out to me. I really do.
Oh, well, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. It's been great. It's been really
Yes,
good.
it's
I'm
been
in
really good.
between lessons right now, so I mean, I was making sure that I've spread some people apart, so we'd make sure and have time, for
Thank you
people
very
to
much.
help them
Thank
that's
you.
really
Oh,
needed. So,